It's the morning of day 2. I am walking back up the sand dunes this morning. Pretty much a banger sunrise going on. There's a little bit of high clouds and stuff that turned just bright pinks and reds. It was really pretty to watch. It's about 6 in the morning. Slept in a bivy sack last night. That was just fine. Maybe not fantastic, but fine. Nice and convenient for sure. It's a lot easier to roll out than trying to pitch a tent. And especially in the backcountry like this, leaves a lot less of a footprint too. I had a visitor last night. That was fun. Near as I can tell, it looked like a little kit fox. They're about the size of a cat, like a house cat or a small dog. My guess is there's probably many of them out here. That's probably a real common thing. But what I didn't know is just how fearless they are. He just walked right up to the back of my truck. I had the tailgate open so that the light was shining off the truck, and he was curious enough to walk right up and see what was going on. So that was interesting. I don't think he was going to hurt anything. He just looked more curious than anything. He certainly didn't look aggressive. He was just a little startling to turn around and see a critter. I'm sure he came by to visit me a few times last night, but I was sleeping. I didn't notice. I wasn't bothered by him. So, and there's burrows all over the desert scape out here. There's little holes dug in the ground. I'm sure there's all kinds of them, but I ain't got nothing for him. He didn't bother me, so. Some really nice soft early morning light hitting this dune over here. And it looks really pretty, but that was one of the ones I checked out yesterday. In fact, that dune is the one I shot stars over last night. The trouble with it is there's a lot of footprints and stuff, and from here it looks like it all kind of connects going up the ridge there. But it doesn't. When you get up there, there's a big valley and a big dip, and it's really tough to make a composition out of. It's tough to make the composition that I had in mind out of, I should say. So, I mean, it looks really pretty, but I'm probably just gonna walk right past it and try to get ahead of it and see if I can find a shot on another dune. There's a couple smaller ones I'm walking up to right now that I didn't have time to check out last night. Kind of want to see what they look like. They're just starting to get just kissed on the top by the sun. Probably gonna be too late to set up and shoot that too, but I want to see what it does just in case I end up staying out here another night. It's just absolutely gorgeous what the sun does to these dunes, especially when it's low on the horizon like that. You have all these rippled textures in the foreground on the dunes that just light up on fire, and it looks just fantastic. Once again, it's just trying to find a composition. I wasn't prepared for this morning, so that's fine by me. I'm just enjoying scoping around and seeing what the light does. I mean, I could just start spraying and praying out here and just click at everything, but it's to get that ideal shot that I had in mind that I came here for. It's going to take a little more work, so. Very cool old mine there, although I have no idea how old it is or even what mine it is, so I'll have to look it up. Very cool though, definitely worth walking over to check it out, although I wouldn't suggest climbing on it. It looks really rickety. I'm walking around the backside of the dune field now, and I did find a couple dunes. There's one in particular that's got a real nice clean ridge line on it. Background might not be exactly what I was going for, but I mean, you kind of stuck working with what you got, because I can't like tell the dune to move. But it looks good, and if I don't find anything better, I'll probably set my tripod up and shoot that for sundown. But now I just got a lot of time to kill, so I'm just gonna keep exploring and see what else there is. So. I walked back to the truck to get some breakfast and sit in the shade for a minute. Wander around the dunes for a while. I think I found a plan for tonight. I found an even better composition, but it's unfortunately one of the dunes that's been trampled already. So that's alright, that's just one I have to come back and get. The wind isn't strong enough right now, it's just barely blowing at all, if at all. So it's not enough to erase the footprints, which means, and I don't know if I'm going to get the weather I need in order to clean that up this trip. I think it's just gonna have to wait till next trip. But I found a similar composition on a smaller dune, and I think I'm gonna shoot that tonight. But what that means is I've got, you know, a handful of hours to sit and wait for sunset. It's about 10 in the morning now. I'm gonna eat some breakfast and then decide what I want to do today, because there's a few things around the area I could check out. But for now, I'm hanging my sleeping bag because it got a little damp last night with all the condensation, and drying the bivy sack out too, and then charge my batteries and all that stuff, all the good stuff. It's astonishingly quiet. There's been a couple cars in and out, not too many, just a couple people driving by, but all in all it's still just peaceful. It's wonderful. There's a really cool rock. It's about an hour before sunset, and I have some bad news, or slightly disappointing news. The fact that enough dense cloud has built up in the sky to the west here that it is snuffing out the sun. I'm hopeful that by the time I get to my composition and get set up, there's just this very slight line closer to the horizon, and maybe I'll be able to sneak a little more sunlight out before it sets. If not, then my composition is going to be totally flat. It's disappointing, because now this will be the second day that I'm camped out at these dunes trying to get just a ideal lighted dune shot. And if this doesn't cooperate with me, then I won't get it tonight either. I mean, that's just kind of that's the way it is in landscape photography, so you just gotta have the patience to wait it out. The unfortunate thing is, this isn't my most ideal composition, because my most ideal composition is trampled with footsteps. So it's kind of my backup, is kind of a consolation. And as much as I like it, I just don't know if I'm committed enough to this composition to spend yet another day on it. So we'll see what happens. I'm gonna walk up and set my tripod up anyway and hope that I will get good light. And if not, then I guess I'll have a decision make. Yeah, unfortunately this is game over. I set up anyway, just in case the sun decided to come out, and it didn't. It's beyond a mountain ridge now, and that's the end of it. So I think that's a wrap. Unfortunately, I don't know what I think yet about this shot and this location, what I want to do yet. So I guess I'll think about that as I'm packing my camera up. A little disappointing, but I mean, that's life and that's landscape photography. So when they say showing up is half the battle, unfortunately in landscapes, the other half is timing, and didn't have that with me today. So some real pretty colors on the horizon line, but that cloud coverage is just snuffing it out over here. So over there towards the west, somebody's getting a pretty sunset. Just sure isn't us. I'm gonna use the remaining ambient light to make the trek back to the truck, since it'll be a little easier to see where I'm going. And there's enough cloud coverage right now that there's not gonna be any stars to shoot. I'm gonna see if I can wiggle out just a sliver of self-service here to check the weather, and then probably decide on this walk back to the truck whether or not I want to try to break camp out or just boogie on out of here tonight. So I'll make that decision as I'm walking. But for now, I think that's pretty much the end of day 2, unfortunately. It's disappointing, but that's just the way it is. And even though I don't have any images to show, it's all just kind of part of it. So I hope you don't think the video's a waste just because they came out here and failed. Because it's not ideal, but I don't necessarily feel like it was a failure. I mean, I learned a lot of things. I learned a new location. I didn't fully explore it just yet, but I don't think I'm feeling it. So might be wise to head up to another location in the park. We'll see. We'll see how I feel in the morning, I guess. So, or we'll see how I feel later tonight about waking up here in the morning. So yeah, anyway, I think that's a wrap, and we'll see you tomorrow.